Hi, this is Dr. Matthew Metzgar from University of North Carolina at Charlotte, and this is my presentation on Happy or Not, Roots of Student Satisfaction in Class Sessions. This is looking at using a fast feedback device in class, and so you may have seen these devices in businesses, organizations, airports. They look, very simple setup, maybe 4 to 5 smiley faces, and then it's a way for a customer to give very quick feedback as they're passing through as to how they rate that service or experience for that day. So there's been a move towards this. This is a growing sector, partly because online surveys perhaps require too much time. A lot of these online surveys have so many questions, and consumers have grown weary of filling out long surveys, and they often just skip those. So a fast feedback button as you're leaving, say, the post office, instead of going online filling out a survey, you'd be much more likely just to hit a button. And a lot of companies believe that this can approximate the general satisfaction levels that you would get if you did more detailed surveys. So I looked at how we can apply this to the classroom, and I just developed a very simple fast feedback question and poll everywhere, and then I gave that at the end of each class, and it was just another poll question that there was a point for participating. Though any answer, whether it is positive, negative, neutral, would give that student full credit. So here is the question I used, very simple setup, and again, most of these students are using their phone, and so this is just something I can pop up at the end of class, and then very quickly they can just tap the smiley face of their choice, and that's it. And so it's a very convenient way for them to give some feedback. And here's a sample result. Again, this was a good result, but fairly typical for the classes I teach. And so I did this in the spring semester 2019. I had 3 large sections. It was over this one semester. It was about 300 students total. And the results really from one section to another were very consistent. So there wasn't a lot of variation going from one class to another. The first main finding I came across was that struggling students self-identify. And very early in the semester, when I'd look at who was having clicking a negative emoji, these were students that ended up struggling, but even early on through some of their early assignments were struggling there. And so I thought that was interesting that they right away they kind of were struggling and then voiced that through their dissatisfaction on the survey. Number 2, I found that throughout the semester that the satisfaction levels would tend to drop when the material got more difficult. And so really this didn't have anything to do with the instructor, just some material in the class I teach is just more dense, more technical than other parts. And then I'd notice satisfaction levels went down on a particularly difficult class if you had a problem that had multiple steps to it or a heavy math component or something along those lines. And then number 3, which is really a surprise to me, was that I was thinking as the instructor I was responsible for the high satisfaction or low satisfaction, but I found out in contacting these students it really wasn't the case, and also asking them in general in class. So again, some students would be dissatisfied due to the difficulty of the material, but then external factors. One student just said it was just the weather today. It's kind of a rainy day. Other students said I've been working a lot of hours, or I didn't get a lot of sleep due to some other event. And so those things would, play into their dissatisfaction, but obviously had nothing to do with me as the instructor. So those were kind of my 3 main findings here for this first semester through. I thought it was a very valuable experience to do, and I'm going to continue with these surveys going forward. And so if you think about applications, again, some struggling students are going to self-identify, perhaps that could be used as an early warning tool. So just early on, maybe they could get some more academic support because, they realize right away that they're going to have a little trouble perhaps with this class and this material. And again, it could be a measure of that difficulty, so you can kind of get an idea for which chapters are going to be more difficult for students than others. And then third, it could measure just the general stress level of students. Perhaps, again, if you're getting near finals or something, maybe the outside stressors are creeping up, and you might have more students that are dissatisfied, but again, due to these external factors. So that's my short presentation, and thank you. And again, this is Dr. Matt Metzgar from University of North Carolina at Charlotte.